Hi guys, this is Jamie. I want to welcome you to my channel. I hope everyone is doing well today. I got a request to swatch my Caliart 101 brush markers on film, so I thought I would go ahead and do it, not only to have a swatch sheet, but then also to check all of the markers. So if you get markers, any alcohol markers or any markers in general, always check all of your markers right after you get them to make sure they work, because if they don't work, you should contact Amazon or the distributor and they will replace them, because most of the time that is not supposed to happen. So it's very important to either swatch them or just check them. If you don't really care for swatch sheets, just pull them out and just scribble them on a piece of paper just to make sure that they work. So that's just a suggestion. And this is cardstock. It's kind of like an off-white. I ran out of white, so I think we'll be okay though. And this is the package of the Caliart brush markers that I showed in my haul, just the video prior to this one. And if you open it up, they're not in color order, and I'm just feeling here. Comes with a little Caliart warranty card, and in here we'll have their email. So this happened to me last time I got my Caliarts, which was 100 a long time ago, and my purple was dead. It didn't work at all, and then the other side like exploded on me when I opened the cap. I took a picture and I emailed them, and then they sent me a replacement. So keep that in mind if that happens to you. So with these, since there is no real order, I'm just going to pull them randomly, I guess. I guess I'll do the best I can to try to keep like yellows with yellows and blues with blues and things like that. But there's no like swatching order. So yeah, I'm going to just move them to the side here and we will get started, and we'll just kind of have like a color and chat but with swatching. And I'm going to try to pull my yellows first. What I should do is get a little container to put these in after I've swatched them. I'm just trying to see if I have something. Hang on just a sec, guys. Okay, so after I swatch them, I'm going to use this bowl, this Tupperware bowl, and I'll just put them in there. That way I know which ones I've swatched and not put them back in the actual package, because I clearly do not have enough room on my desk for all of these markers to be laying around. So, how is everyone doing? I hope good. I am just going to do this one first, I think. So this is, I'm using, this is kind of like a Paper Mate Flare, but this is the Amazon Basics brand. I don't know if I want to write it all down or what we want to do, but this is Y204, and this is pastel yellow. This will take a while, so maybe I won't write out the names, and I'll just write out the numbers. This is kind of a test thing. So I want to try my chisel end first. It's a good yellow. Now the brush end, draw a little heart. Okay, so this is kind of a softer brush. It's not stiff. next one, maybe I should do a click pen so I'm not constantly opening up a cap, but that's okay. Y416 Marigold. And check our broad end. It's more like not really an orangey. This is like a fall color. But if you can see the end of the brush tip when it goes down, I'm waiting for it to refocus. Sorry, guys. But if you can see that when you push down, see how it bend? So you can see that it's a soft brush tip. This one is, let me go back up. Sorry about that, guys. All right. So here we have Y505, which is apricot. So it's more like an orange, literally like an apricot. This next one is a yellow green, so put in this number. I don't think that will try out. That's a pretty color. So far so good. Now we have yellow, just Y314. If you have the regular Caliarts, you could check and see if you have these colors in your regular Caliart, not brush tips. I felt like I had something on my finger, but I guess not. Let's pick another yellow. This one's a fun name. This is lightning yellow. I could put these in a swatch book, but I figured I'd just do it on a piece of paper. And the caps actually come off very easily. So this one, the yellow seems more orangey to me. This one seems more like a bright yellow. For this being yellow, it doesn't look yellow. It looks more like a yellow orange. The next one we have Y003. I think it's called Canaria yellow. I was going to say canary yellow, but I don't think that's how you spell canary. And I actually like how they have so many yellows because I love yellow. Next one is sunflower. 216. If I keep taking up this much space, I'll need another piece of paper. That's a pretty color. It's like a golden yellow. I'm just looking. I don't see any more like yellow ends. Oh, this one maybe. This one is an olive yellow. And I didn't put the number first. Y225. So to me, this doesn't look like yellow, but there is this one, which is, of course, I didn't even give it enough space. Mid golden yellow. That does not look like yellow at all to me. That looks kind of like a green. Maybe we will just go into the greens. And maybe I will swatch and then write. Maybe it will be better. So, this one. That way we have consistency. And maybe I'll just write the words here. This is glass green. That one's bright. So it's probably like spring green or something like that. This one. Bud green. I forgot to put in the R. Don't judge me. I'm just trying to get these swatched. I normally don't make like swatch sheets very often. Not because I don't care for it, but it's just when my style of coloring, I just look at the color, kind of scribble it on a piece of paper and go, oh, that looks good. Brownies green, I guess. That one's pretty. I know it's not emerald green. It has too much blue in it. This one is chartreuse. It's a pretty color. Looks like a forest green of some sort. This one is deep olive green. So there is a lot of variety in the greens. I don't remember this color being in the old set. Could be in the new set of the regulars. That's a good one. See, this one to me looks more like an olive green. Okay. I don't know this is, I'll write it down and then I'll try to sound it out. So it's like Petus, yeah, Petus Poise, yeah. Maybe it's supposed to be like a poison green or something. The poisonous green. Do not eat plants that are that color, or something like that. And here's another one that I won't be able to pronounce. Green is green, right? It's like Abyssnith or something. Abyssus? I can't even say it. Can you guys read that? Where you can read it. I wrote it right here. I have no idea what that says. I really am not illiterate. Illiterate. Okay, this one I can read. This one's bronze green. It's late. What can I say? Had one of those nights where kids were sick, ended up having to do the laundry from everybody not feeling well in the middle of the night, and yeah. When you're going on little hours of sleep, you start acting kind of kooky. This one's pretty. I like this color. This one will probably get used up pretty quickly. Of course, it's emerald green. I always like emerald green. It'll be interesting to see the variety of blues they have, because there's always a lot of blues, it feels like, in any set of markers that you get. This one is deep green. Kind of shift the bag a little bit. Look at all these greens. Guess if you had a challenge where you could only use green, these markers would be great for that challenge, because you have such a variety in shades. You could easily find shadow shades and everything. So this is grass green. This one is really light. This one's called sugar cane. Let's see. Getting to the end of the green stash. That doesn't even look green. Looks more like a neutral, very light cream color or something. This is called dim green. Wonder after time if that would fade into like nothing. It's not very strong. This one is pale green. So far, we haven't run into any dried out ones. They all feel pretty juicy. I see one more green. Oh, two more. That one seemed a little dried out, but maybe it's just because it's so light. I was just trying to get more color out of it than it really is. This one is Spectrum Green. And there was one more that was kind of hiding. This is Horizon Green. G012. Now let's move into the turquoises and blues. That's a pretty shade. This one's really juicy. This is Mint Green Light. So it's technically a green, but it does not look green. It looks more like a turquoise to me. And it starts with a B, so obviously there's more blue tone in it. See if I can find another kind of teal color. This color looks really close to this one. I don't know if you guys can see that. And this one's called Turquoise Green Light. So this is blue, or this is Mint Green Light, and this is Turquoise Green Light, but they look like they could be the same marker. Let's try this one. The chisel seems to go down darker than the brush. Just an observation. This one is the turquoise blue. This one is teal. I have yet to get me like a really good like swatch book that I like. Almost like I want to buy a swatch book that is made with artist quality paper. just so that the colors don't die down over time. But like I said earlier, I don't really swatch that often. I do in some cases, but not all the time. Okay, so this is the forest green. Talk about deceiving. This does not look like green to me. This looks like a teal, like a dark teal, but it is forest green according to the cap. Another reason why you should always swatch your markers. So I could feel something coming off my hands when I was, when I rub on these, and it's where the silver is. It almost feels like oily. I'm pretty sure I don't have lotion on, but yeah, they feel kind of oily. Maybe it's because they're brand new. This is like chrome. Oops. Oxide green. Another green that's snuck in. We're going to need another piece of paper. This one is a very light blue. Look how light it is on the brush tip compared to the chisel. And this is mint blue. So that is kind of different because those look like two different colors. And this color we kind of all recognize as our like light blue or sky blue. What do they call it? Pastel blue. Next one is cloud blue. Whoa, now that is some dark clouds. I would almost choose that as my clouds over that one, but that is a strong color. Tipping. All right, so soon we're going to need another sheet of paper. This one we have cerulean blue. A lot of artists know that color all too well. It's a good color to mix to make other colors. This one is very juicy. This one is royal blue. I think I have all my kids down, but we'll have to see. So if someone shows up talking, Obviously, they weren't totally asleep. This one actually gives off a smell. And this one is their sky blue. Let's see, do we have any more blues sneaking in here? I'm going to try to get all the blues on this sheet before I switch to another piece of paper. This one was a very flexible tip. This is brilliant blue. Does that mean this color is brilliant? Just kidding. Blue hiding in the back there. This one's very dark. Not as many blues as I thought there would be, which is perfectly fine for me because it feels like every time I get a marker set, I have an abundance of blue and green. This one's Napoleon blue. Do I have any more? I think I got them all. There's some blue grays in here, but I'll put those with the grays. Let me see if I can sneak this dolphin blue on the bottom here. Dolphin blue was B522. All right, let me grab another piece of paper. You guys can look at those lovely colors for a minute. They're like starting to fall down. All right, so I'm going to move this one aside, get us a new sheet. A couple sneak past me. Let me see if I can bend the case a little bit so I can get these out easier. So this one is a blue. And if you don't care for watching me swatch all these markers, you can do the 2 times fast speed and watch me swatch them all really fast if you want. I understand everybody is busy and they're interested in these markers, but sometimes don't have the time to watch a full swatch video. This is Prussian blue. And now we're going into the purples. So this is just basically a purple hue darker than this one. This is Dutch blue, or Dutch blue. For a minute there I was going to say purple, but that is Dutch blue. All right. works. Oh, that's an 8, 2, 6. Okay, this one is another name that I am totally going to get wrong. Aster talaricus. Yeah, don't know that one. It's a pretty purple though. Ooh, that one's a deep one. Could do some really nice shadowing with this. This is Pansy. And that one's really pretty too. You guys like purples? There's actually quite a few purples in this set. When I got the original Caliarts forever ago, when I like started my coloring journey, it only had like 3 purples, and most of them were dark purple. So this is light violet. I was kind of bummed, and it happened to be that the light purple was the one that busted on me, that I had to wait and have replaced. And the replacement came and it worked and everything, but it actually died before all my other older ones. So the replacement had less ink than my other ones did. Which is so weird. That one is lavender. So if you are a purple lover, this one has a lot of purples. This one is pastel violet. Which is awesome. I've noticed they've got a selection of pastels in this collection. We've pulled a few different pastels, which is nice. I like coloring with pastels and then going over the top with pencils. It creates really good shading effects because you're just basically creating a base layer to work off of, which is nice. My eyes are playing tricks on me. Clematis? I don't know. Another beautiful light purple. This one has more red tones. This one has more blue tones. This is a pale blue violet. Let's see if there's any more before we go into the pinks. This one is getting close to the pink. Oh, this cap. Okay, so this brush cap was a little tight, but I think it will loosen up after time. Has good snap. R614. Jacaranda. Yeah. Jakaranda. Yeah, that is that one. A lot of these don't have names that I can pronounce very well. I apologize, guys. They're not like red, green, or red, blue. This one I got. This one is old red. I can figure this one out. You would think it would be more red color, but this looks more maroon to me. We'll see when we get to the red to see how red it actually is. This one is rose red. This one makes sense, because usually rose red is not a true red. And that one sounded weird coming off. This one is the deep red. We are going to do coral red. This one is a very bendy brush. And there is my daughter. You're supposed to be in bed, young lady.
No, my tablet's dead. And now I'm scared.
Is there one on the table?
I said my tablet was dead, and we have to get a new one. You not need water bottles for school. You need these for school too. Mom, when
She's gonna carry on a conversation for us right now. Those water bottles I put in the fridge to get cold, honey.
Yeah, but they're already cold.
Oh, then they're already cold.
Yeah, you can take them slow when you don't have a water bottle.
Oh. Here, kids can take water bottles to school because since the COVID and everything, they don't allow them to use the water fountain. So if you want your kid to have a drink, they suggest giving them a water bottle. So I tend to buy bottled water and always have water bottles. That's geranium. As you can see, there is a ton of colors in here. This one is coral pink. Ooh, that one's pretty. This one actually reminds me of like the pink that all the little girls like. It's not as bright as like Barbie pink, but, and this is another pastel color. This is pastel rose. Really build off this color and make it go so many directions. You could add purple shading, you could add like pinks and red shading, you could even add like browns and it would look really cool. This one reminds me more Barbie doll. We're getting more to that shade. It's still a pastel color, so this one's pastel pink. You should see how full my marker bowl is. Are they all gone?
Empty.
Put it in the garbage. We'll have to buy some more.
Someone eat all of them.
Oh, bummer. She got in the package of the cookies, and the cookies are all gone. Her favorite cookie is the little Elmer fudge cookies that they're like a buttermilk biscuit on the top, and then it has chocolate frosting sandwiched in the middle, like a chocolate fudge. Very sweet. This is like my messy handwriting. Usually a lot better writing. So this is medium pink. Now we're going to start transitioning into all of the like skin tone shades. This one is blush. Try to be a little more quiet.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mommy, look at your phone.
I'm using it right now. Okay, that was supposed to be a 2.
But all the tablets.
This is pale mauve. What about the one on the table?
No, not white games. Not white games. What?
Go get the one from your brother,
Huh?
Ethan. He took one in his room and he fell asleep.
Yeah, but I got that one and it said.
Well, then there should be one on the table.
Where is it?
Light orange. Okay, just an observation. Not very many oranges in this set. But I find there's not very many oranges in any set of markers, it feels like. Maybe if you have like a 200 count, possibly. But what I've found is the more markers you have, it feels like the more... Turn that down. The more markers you have, the more like gray tones you have. So they aren't giving you like more colors, they're giving you more subtle shades. And to me, buying a big thing of markers, I want more colors. I don't really want more grays. That's my personal preference. One's Rogue Orange. I thought I was getting into the skin tones, but then all of a sudden I went into oranges. Get there eventually. And like my words are starting to salmon. This one is powder pink. Didn't think we would need 3 things of paper, but maybe we will. Our 100 is Barely Beige, which I recognize from the old set. This is one that I used a lot on skin. Y7. This is Pearl White. Now I'm just starting to pull markers basically from the top of what's left. This one is Salmon Pink. This one would be a good skin tone. This one's more of a yellowy skin tone. This is Cream. Cream. It's about to make a G. This one's like just a shade lighter than the Cream. This is Raw Silk. I've used this one before for skin tone, because you can build off of it really well with your pencils. So far, haven't had any bad ones yet. We'll keep our fingers crossed. This one's Baby Skin Pink. So this one is new to me. I do not recognize the title. I don't believe they had this in the old set. And yeah. This one is Eggshell. Another one I don't remember in the old set. I know this title from many of pencils, but not in the old Caliarts. Time to go into some browns. Okay, I'm starting to repeat numbers. I'm not looking at the marker, I'm looking at my paper. Honey, can you turn that down? It's too loud.
Mom, Ethan tablet's quiet.
Okay. This one is Terracotta. I really don't know if I'll be able to fit all these in this paper. Might need to grab another sheet. is a lot of colors. This one is yellow ochre. Feels like I get a lot of browns in my marker sets too. Just observation. This is raw umber. And I think I'm done with the color section. I lift a marker up and I find some more. This is, I think it says Brun, whatever that means. This one is dark yellow. Oh, no, thank you, honey.
Open!
Here. Go sit down. Here. This one is a little smelly. This is the potato brown. This is walnut. Almost done with all the brown shades. Look at all those neutrals. If you were just doing a page just in neutrals, like say like a sepia page, you definitely would have enough to pull off that old rustic feel. This is chestnut brown, very dark. Okay, I'm getting tired because I can tell because I can't spell. So I apologize, but we are near the end. And I think this is Camas. Okay, so what is left is just grays and blacks. And I am not going to actually write out the names. I'm just going to put little lines because I don't want to waste entire paper just for the tiny bit I have left. So I'm going to just do it right here, and I'm just going to create little lines just so you can see the colors real fast. So this one is WG00. This is the color. You okay? This is the colorless blender. It's clear. Here Here we have the CG07, so this is cool gray number 7. This one almost looks like the black. This one, the cap doesn't close tight. Doesn't have a good snap. That one does. This is warm gray 9. Worry about that one drying out. This one is blue gray 9. Here is our black. This one is cool gray 4. Green gray number 5. This is a blue gray. So this is actually marine blue, but looks like blue gray to me. And this is warm gray 5. This one is neutral gray number 7. That's a new one. Never heard of a neutral gray number 7 before. This one is your cool gray 0. That is a good one to use on clouds if you want them to really be white. This is a green gray number 1. Blue gray number 5. And last marker is neutral gray number 3. And that, my friends, is all of the markers in this set. So we didn't have any markers that didn't work. Everything was good. Some of the colors were a little misleading. That's why we swatched them out or scribble them on a piece of paper prior to using them. The brush tips, I am pleased with them. They are a little flexible on the end. I don't think they'll wear out very quickly, but eventually they will wear out. They're not stiff. So yeah, that's something to keep in mind if you like a stiff brush marker. I am not sure if these colors are the same ones as the ones in the 100 set of the chisel and the fine. That is something you would have to look up yourself. But when I was kind of looking online, they looked different. So that's something to keep in mind. And also, these actually have the color name on the lid, which the regular ones do not. And since this video is already pretty long, I'm not going to worry about showing too much of like a blending techniques or anything like that. We can save that for a different video. And I do plan on doing another video soon with markers and pencil work, so stay tuned for that. If you stayed in through this whole video, I applaud you. You did wonderful. Great job. You can leave a comment in or down below, and you can put the keyword Caliart marker, and then I'll know you stayed through the whole thing, and I really appreciate your support. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you guys next video. Thanks for watching, guys.